We recently partnered with a company called Ag Sale. They make outdoor adventure and home improvement products. They sent us a few items to try out, and the first one that's on the list that we'll be sharing today is this portable stove. It weighs about a pound, there's no deformation under heat, it's got a collapsible, versatile design, and it's the most affordable portable stove on the market. We were headed to go off-roading and thought this is a great opportunity to try it out. We loaded up our new Yeti cooler with our favorite water, Waiakea. We tossed in some fresh bananas from the farm, got the kids loaded up, and we started to make our trek over to Time so that we could pick up some other items for the trip. This location in Temple Valley is pretty awesome because you come out to the beautiful views of the Ko'olau Mountains. They've got a very large selection of all kinds of different poke, and the prices on everything else is pretty fair and reasonable. Now, when you're headed to the North Shore, you have a couple of options. My favorite route is to go coastal. It takes longer, but you get to see so many beautiful things as you're going along your way. For us today, we had to go through the H3 because we had Thanksgiving weekend coming up. We had to make the most of our time. Now, that's not to say that this also isn't an incredible drive. We love looking at the mountains, especially when they're raining, and we love driving through the tunnel. We see how long we can hold our breath. Our rendezvous spot was Stordo's Deli in Haleiwa, where we met up with some of the crew, and then we formed a caravan and started making our way to Kaena Point. We got through Waialua, where my wife's family's from, and started getting into Dillingham Ranch area, and I knew we were getting close once we saw the mountain range.
You have arrived.
Kaena Point is one of my favorite places to go with friends and family. It's a little harder to get to, it's more secluded. It's highly recommended that you have four-wheel drive, but you've got so many beautiful views from behind you, from in front of you. The left is the mountain range, the right is the ocean. It's just one of those places that kind of has it all. I wanted to also note, if you don't have vehicle access to Kaena Point or you don't have four-wheel drive, you can hike in, you can take your bike in, but the only thing that I would recommend is bring some water because you are exposed to the heat and the elements out there. As the rest of the gang showed up, we decided this would be the perfect spot for us to have lunch, and then once we finished that, of course, our kids were begging us to do a little off-roading up these little hills. It was nothing crazy, but it was fun for them. In the tide pools, we found some pa'akai, which means salt in Hawaiian. What a beautiful resource. It's natural, it's fresh, and we decided to take a bag so that we could use it on our shrimp. On our way out of Kaena, we noticed that there was a beach and there was a monk seal on it. There were some tourists that were kind of walking around, so we went down just to make sure she was okay, but she had a hook and a line in her mouth. Fortunately, we were able to get a hold of DLNR and Hawaii Marine Animal Response so that they could send someone out to assist. We set up camp right at this awesome little beach spot so everybody could swim safely. The kids were hungry and they wanted sauteed shrimp, so I started to open up the stove and get it going, and I realized that in the process of packing, I had totally forgotten to bring charcoal. Since we were too far from a store, we decided we would just gather sticks, gather coals that people had left behind, and make do with what we had. About every 5 to 10 minutes, these gliders would fly overhead from Dillingham Airfield, and we would just watch them make their descent. In the mortar, we had fresh garlic, fresh inamona, we had the blend from Costco, and we had Antos garlic seasoning, plus that pa'akai I told you about. Super mahalo to my helpers. They gathered sticks and coal, and they even helped me pound out the mortar and pestle so we could get this marinade on our shrimp. The coals were hot, and it was finally time to put the shrimp on the pan. So here goes, honest review. This thing is pretty awesome. Aside from my mess up with not bringing coals and having to harvest for sticks and other coals, this thing did a great job. I can't complain. For 26 bucks, you're getting a smoking deal, especially when their competitors sell from $70 to $300 a piece. What makes this fun is the kids got to be interactive with the entire process and cook their own meal. Nothing went to waste. We even sopped up the rest of the sauce in the pan, and it was delicious. Thank you guys for checking out a day in our life here in the islands, and mahalo to Ag Sale for giving us an opportunity to try some new things. Happy 2025, everyone.